Hey guys, so before we get into the video, I wanted to show you really quick how I like to store and set up my flat bags when they're not being used. So this is how they look on top of a metal rack shelf. That is my Rebecca Minkoff Edie flap, my Karl Lagerfeld Agnes in tweed, and two other Rebecca Minkoff bags. And I'm also going to show you really quick how I like to store them facing outwards. Now this is how it would look if I was facing the flaps outward. Again, very pretty and organized. And there is a certain way I set up the bag for when I store it. So we're going to get into that right now. Please stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and I wanted to do a video on how I store my flat bags. Flat style bags are my favorite design when it comes to bags. They're so elegant and classy, and when I'm not using the bags, I do like to keep them on a shelf out in the open, but there's a certain way I store them so that the chains aren't flapping around and getting all over the place. So I'm going to start with the Rebecca Minkoff. I have 3 Rebecca Minkoff bags. And of course, what I always do is I keep the stuffing that comes in the bag. And of course, I keep the dust bag. However, I do not leave the bag in the dust bag because I love to see the bags out in the open on display. So what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to put the stuffing in. And with Rebecca Minkoff bags, there are 2 compartments, and you can put the stuffing paper in either one. It really doesn't matter. And as for the dust bag, what I do is I fold it, and I put it in the back slip pocket. And this adds support and some structure to the bag. Just like that. Now, as for the chains, what I like to do is I will pull the chains all the way through. I'll tuck it in the front parts of the bag, the front compartment. Snap that close. And I like to make the straps lay flat on the top like this. And the great thing with the Rebecca Minkoff chains is because it has this leather strap, it stays on perfectly. And as you can see, it just looks more organized. And the chain isn't hanging out and, getting in the way of the other bags. And it's not going to be wobbling back and forth. It just looks really nice and neat when it's on the shelf. So this is how I like to store my Rebecca Minkoff bags. Now I have 2 other flat style bags, and they are by Karl Lagerfeld. And pretty much the same thing. I would use the stuffing paper, which it already has it in here. And I have the dust bag. I actually have 2 because I'm currently using the other one. So I just folded it up like this, and I'm going to stuff it in the bag. Again, I do this to add structure and support for when the bag isn't being in use. I would close that shut. Now, there are 2 ways that you could do the chain. So you could do it like the Rebecca Minkoff way. Pull the chain through. Tuck it all the way in the bag. And then close it. Hold on. Now this is one way. You could leave the chain like that, hanging out. But keep in mind, because this is a full chain and it has more weight, this will fall out like slowly over time. So it eventually will like hang down. So I personally don't like to do it like this. If you like it that way, you could. But what I personally like to do is I'll pull the chain out all the way, and I'll actually tuck it in the back pocket like this. And the good thing with this chain is it's very flexible. So it tucks very easily, and I will pull that all the way down. I'll make sure majority of the chain is towards the bottom. And because all the chain is down here, it anchors the bag, it adds some weight. So it's not gonna wobble back and forth, it's not gonna topple over. And it just looks nicer and neater like this. So that is how I like to store the Karl Lagerfeld, and this is how I like to store the Rebecca Minkoff. So when they're on the shelf, lined up next to each other, it just looks so pretty and organized, and I don't have to worry about them moving because the chains are nice and secure. So if you have the Rebecca Minkoff Edie Flap or the Karl Lagerfeld Agnes bag, or just any other flap style bag from any brand with this similar setup, this is a good way to store them when they're not being in use. So remember, keep the stuffing, or you could just take regular crumpled paper and stuff it. And if they have this kind of chain setup, this is a good way to store the bag. Oh, and also the dust bag. Use the dust bag as support. So that is all for this video, you guys. I hope you find it helpful. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.